Yeah, so the plot of this movie, um, an editor in chief, played by Sandra Bullock, she's about to be deported to Canada because her, um, visa's up, and she did something for the company. Like she went somewhere where she wasn't supposed to do while she was in the application process of getting it renewed, and because of that, it was denied. Um, so now she's about to lose her job as well. So that's the interesting thing. It's like this plot wouldn't have worked if she would have been allowed just to work from Canada until her visa stuff got sorted out.
Most
But
of
because her
it, yeah.
bosses said, hey, you can't work for this company if you are not allowed to legally be here. So because of that, she kind of like panicked. Her assistant walked in, played by Ryan Reynolds, and she immediately thought, "Hey, how about I just marry this guy, and then I'll have every legal right to be in this country and continue having my job." So really, it
Yep.
was a form of self-preservation for her job that she decided to marry her assistant. And
Yes.
so then they, of course, have to keep up the ruse, and they go to his family because it's Grandma Anna's or Annie's birthday. And so they're like, well, we'll go there, meet the family, and tell everyone we're getting married. And, he's in it for his own work preservation as well. He's going to, he's pretty much blackmailing her to become an editor. That's his part of the deal for this.
Yes, is to become an editor, which is crazy.
Yeah, so how do you think the plot goes for rom coms?
I mean, it's a very rom-commy plot. It's like preposterous, but yet works somehow.
Yeah, it's like you always have the two people in completely opposite situations or something like that, and then they're thrust together, and then in the process they learn to love each other.
Yeah, so I found it very interesting. So part of it is that, like, even at the beginning, the way that it's set up is very, like, interesting. I noted it down. So when the movie starts, it starts with seeing both of their mornings.
Hmm.
So you see her working out, you see him kind of struggling and like, very assistant like I have a boss under me, and she's very like cool, calm, and collected because she's the boss lady.
Hmm.
So you see that, and then but you also see like how charming he is, how like people just automatically like him. Like other women are very interested in this dude. Like he's not just like a loser. Like he's just a hardworking human being who happens to have not gotten a break yet. And then in the scene where they go into the office, I love it because I feel like it was not shot for shot, but it was, how can I put this? I think it was highly influenced by The Devil Wears Product. When that boss person comes in and like everyone's scattering and like, oh my God, and like, they're so very like terrified of her. So it gives that similarity that that movie has. And Devil Wears Product was done, I think, in 2003 or 2006, sorry, 2006. So it is like possible that they saw it and they're like, oh, that's a great, easy way to show her intimidation factor.
Well, yeah, it just sets up her character, which to kind of go off of what you were just talking about, I think this movie does one of the best examples I've seen of telling an audience everything they need to know about the main characters within a couple minutes. Because when you are writing a script, you have to describe the character, set up the setting, and everything. Like you have to. It's like two sentences or whatever, and that tells you everything you need to know about the character. And then as a director, you get that, and then you also have. It's a collaborative work. The director, set design, costumes, and then the actors have to tell you everything you need to know about these main characters in the time that it takes just to do the beginning credits. So it's not just necessarily what they're doing. Yeah, she's working out, but she's in a really nice location. You can see she has a very nice, clean apartment, and it shows the window outside, and you can see like the skyline of the other building. So you know she's living in a well-off area in a big city. And then she's working out, so then you know, okay, she takes her health seriously. But then she's also reading a manuscript, so then you automatically know she's a workaholic. She's doing that instead of paying attention to the environment playing on the TV in front of her. And then, like the rest of her morning, you see like she has a very clean kitchen. She's still reading the manuscript. Again, workaholic, takes her work very seriously. And then when she's on the phone the whole way to work as well. And then, of course, her dress, what she's dressed in, is very. It just like screams executive and boss. And then with Ryan Reynolds' part, you see him in a brick-walled location, so you know he's in a cheaper area, a little bit of clutter, and then he's having to rush to work because for whatever reason his alarm clock, like the power went out or something. You really get the two different personalities and everything you need to know about these two characters, and just in the beginning credits. And that's something both movies and TV shows have to do, and I don't think people really notice that offhand. It's just kind of subconscious by this point. They just see the image of the person in whatever environment they're in, and that tells them everything they need to know. But they might not be consciously thinking, okay, this person's this person's that. Whereas if you're reading like a book, you can learn about that character throughout the whole book. You can't do that in television and film.
Yeah. And I think that's one thing that I think it's like a very interesting thing that is very unique to film, I feel like, because film allows you to have this duality. Like, even in a theatrical play, you couldn't really do this well because you're cutting back and forth. So that editing, even though it feels seamless because they're cutting on action, it's still very like nice of like you never get too much of one person. You're just getting enough to like it's only the important parts. And then yeah, you're right. If they had built it up or just kind of done a nonchalant thing and not given you this environment, then maybe you wouldn't be as invested so quickly. Because, like in books, like you mentioned, you need time and then you get invested.
Yeah, and I just think this movie is a really good example of how to set up characters.